So, welcome everyone to Sacred Segments on Wednesday, the 7th of June. Lucky 7. Um, 7 is a divine number, as we know, for various reasons. But I'm going to start this session with a question, and that question is, bearing in mind that our thoughts and feelings create our vibration, where is your vibration differing to where you would like to create in your life? So, for instance, if you want to create abundance and you are thinking lack, it is that dominant thought uppermost in your mind? Where is the vibrational difference in your output of thinking to what you want to attract and create in your life? I'll go first with the answer to this. Bonnie's just also joining us, who I think she's got a lot going on today with the delivery of 2 cats and her son coming. Hello, Bonnie. Welcome. So I'm asking a question about the vibrational difference, and I'm answering it first. So I think, on reflection, that I personally don't value myself enough. I have very low self-esteem at times, and I consciously work to create an illusion of being confident, as a performer or in this situation. And I'm not a confident person. I'm actually the opposite. And I think I'm vibrationally putting out an energy which the world looks at me and responds with, "You're not enough." When in my mind, I know that I am enough, but there's a feeling with it that I'm not, So I think that's the answer to that question for me. If I go around the group and ask the question, maybe if I could put it to Paul first. But before you answer, Paul, there's some kind of feedback going on. So could everybody mute unless you're speaking, please? Or I'm going to mute you and then unmute you please unmute if you're speaking. Okay. So Paul, question to you.
Do you know, it's really interesting, as you were saying that, I was like, where am I out of alignment? And the first thing that comes to mind was in loving relationships. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Like, I would really like to have a relationship, but I'm not actually doing anything active to create that. So that's kind of where I'm out of it. And I'm laughing because it just struck me as so funny. Like, I'd like to have a relationship, but I'm not doing anything about it. So I think it's probably the only one. And I think, to follow on what you said, though, I think all of us have those moments of like imposter syndrome. And I think if everyone was really, really honest, we all have moments, whatever it might be. Like, we do a session and perhaps it doesn't quite go as well as we think it should have done, or we have that little bit of doubt. We all have those moments. And I don't think you're in any way alone. I think we all have those, but I certainly do. But yeah, no, that like I said, that was the only thing that kind of came to mind. I'd like to have a relationship, but I'm not doing anything about it. Which I know, kind of.
One thing that I suggest to you, take it or leave it, is to write a list of all the things that you want from a relationship, and then put it at the back of your underwear drawer or in the drawer.
Do you know what's really funny about that? And I'm laughing again because it was a thought that popped in my mind the other day, and I was like, oh, I should do that. And then, like all of us, I kind of got like distracted doing all the other stuff. So yeah, I take that.
And don't leave anything off. Make sure that you include every little last detail, and then just forget about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll put it on my floor drobe. Thank you.
I'm gonna ask Bonnie the same. Good to see you. Hi.
Hi, it's good to be here. I'm selfishly here. It's good.
Good for you. Lovely to see you.
Yeah, yeah.
Have your cats arrived?
Cat's just arrived. My
Wow.
son is there. He's sleeping on the couch over there. I'm going to try to stay as quiet as I can. And so I need to,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay, well, we'll focus your mind on the question of where do you feel that your vibration is different to what you would like to create in your life.
right now, well, just because of everything that's going on, it's been high with septic problems and all kinds of things. So I need to come down to feeling normal or below normal. Below normal is better for me than normal. So yeah, I need to, and that's why I came in today, because you guys helped me to get to that spot. And so I needed that. Thank you.
That's interesting. That's a really interesting observation. I always tell my students when I'm teaching singing, before you sing, get to a place of neutral, and come from a place where you can embody the song.
Right.
And I think that it's really important in any kind of practice that you're doing to have a place of clarity and calm and peace. Before you visualize, before you do anything, just get to that neutral place of being empty, and then you go into this new space. It's an important observation. Thank you for bringing that to our awareness.
I want to ask you a question about those drums. That if you've probably seen them, they're like 22 inches and they're made of metal and they're really neat, but they're very.
I love those. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Hang drums, I think they're called.
Yeah. I don't know how hard they are to play.
Very easy.
I like that, Carl. It's a tapping with the hand and your fingers barely touch it. And I like the lower vibrations, but
they're beautiful.
Is that one, Paul?
Oh, you got one.
Do you have one?
I have a really small one. They are a little bit tricky to play. You can't. Oh wow, it's really dusty.
Oh.
Yeah, they're lovely.
You have to kind of hit them on the right distance. I know. Do you mean the one that's got? Oh, hang on. Let me just turn my back.
I'm sure she means that.
Yeah. But these are like.
So there's two different types of this. There's the one I've got, and there's one that's got like little dips in it. This is the easier one to play. I can't. Yeah.
But yours has a good sound to it. I like that.
It's lovely. It's lovely. It almost reminds me of like one of those kind of those jingles like in a department store with like ding 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 ding, and our special offer of the day is. Yeah, it's got a nice.
If I could ask the question to Agne.
Yeah, so currently in my life, I'm kind of dismantling everything and shifting to a new stage of my life. So there are many pieces that are moving at the moment. And I'm in a transition to a higher vibration and better state of being. So it's hard to point at one thing, but probably finances is still not in alignment the most to where my being is, so to speak.
It's good to recognize it and just to have this conversation so that we can pinpoint it and also shift the thoughts and the vibration, so you can, and we all, because when one person brings an issue, it's reflecting through us all, that it's part of our united consciousness, so we can start to think abundantly, not only financially, but with time, with love, with resources, the things that we need, the people that we need to help us move forward, all of that. So thank you for sharing that. Carl, what would you say about?
So I'm going to be contrary
Okay.
and say I don't think my vibration is out of alignment of what I'm wanting at the moment, because I'm wanting, like I after quitting what was a very, very stressful, intense job, I wanted a more quiet existence, you know, and I'm not a very demanding person. So, you know, so I want something that would suit my nature, where I'd have free time, some interests, nothing too challenging, you know, enough of everything. And that's what I have at the moment. But I realize I need to, you know, reconnect with the the bit of the drive and the, I've never really been ambitious, but you know, I need to do more, and I need to know I have to get kind of now out of my little comfort zone where I've had the time to recuperate, and like kind of reconnect to who I knew I was many years ago when I was younger, and not like frazzled and kind of burnt out at work. And I needed a bit of time to connect to a bit of peace and joy. But now is the time for me to, you know, shift things up a bit. But as I'm saying, I think my vibration reflects exactly what I've been wanting for. And now I just need to figure out what I really want next, because, you know, sometimes that's equally the challenge, is having too many thoughts but no clear vision. And in my life, I've kind of always just gone with the flow, and the universe has shown me and brought me along. So I'm hoping it'll be a bit helpful this time too.
That's very in alignment with something that I was listening to yesterday from Dr. John DeMartini, which I shared it on the Facebook group page. And it one of the things that he talks about is making a list of your priorities and the things that are most important to you, so you can identify, you know, what it is that you want to create and focus on more of, you know. And I think sometimes we don't do that. We don't realize what is the most important thing. And he said something along the lines of, you know, if there's an area of your life where you are not filling it with the things that you want, then somebody else will come along and fill that space for you. You know, because people are so demanding and, you know, sometimes needy, you know, including family members or friends or whatever, you know, they'll take over that energy. So it's important for us, if we want to create something in our lives, for us to be very focused on it.
I mean, I know that's true, but I also think there's also a kind of a middle path, you know,
sure,
from like in the Buddhist perspective. So, and I've kind of always followed a kind of a middle path. I've not been too standoffish, but I'm not a person to, you know, be jumping into like say, oh, I'll do that. But if people ask me, I'm hard to say no. But at the same time, I wouldn't say boundaries, but I'm very discriminating about, so because I'm a bit like of an introvert. So I think it's kind of served me very well, but it also means that I've maybe not pushed myself to, you know, to levels that other people would. But that's because, exactly as you say, the things that I value more are not glory and like a super yacht, and, you know, it's a, what people would say is, you know, just having enough and having good health and having, you know, happiness and a
right with you.
Family relationship, you know,
on the middle path stuff. I'm very much with you, and I don't allow myself to get too happy or too miserable. I try to get, you know, try to find the middle way.
Yes, contentment is an underrated feeling.
Right. Can I ask you, Anna, what your thoughts are on this?
Oh God. Paul and Carl know that this is.
But you're attracting. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
I know.
You can almost smell it now in the air. So
It's, for the past several weeks, this has been sort of all consuming in many ways, is the realization of how, the vibration I've been at and the vibration of the things that I want are quite different. I'm very aware of it. For me, it's been a very interesting experience of not beating myself up for not being there, because there have been a lot of circumstances, there are a lot of reasons why my vibration is where it's at. And it's not like my vibration's terrible, but in terms of what I need to bring in, want and need to bring in, which is improved business and finances, and I'm in a major way.
The universe has been challenging you to keep your vibration in the right place, hasn't it?
Exactly. It really has been. It's been, and I've been doing my very best to be joyful and all of that, to be joyful and to, I don't want to say think positive, but like to keep my eyes on the prize, so to speak.
Nice.
But in the 3D reality, there have been a lot of challenging moments.
Sure.
And I'm not beating myself up for that. And what I've been doing is a lot of like inner work and meditations and clearings and whatever to get out of, anytime I feel myself being pulled down in terms of my vibration, I do everything I can to bring it back up. And I've been, I've had moments of great bliss and joy and through this process. So I think, considering my situation, I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, Paul's nodding. Thank you. I mean, I think a lot of people, if they were in, and I don't want to go into specifics in the situation I'm in, they'd be like going to the mental hospital. So, and I understand the bigger picture. I understand why this is happening. I understand that I'm in a huge transition, in a, as Paul and I were talking about yesterday, a death and rebirth again. Those are so boring at this point.
I think it's also important to acknowledge that we, and I feel this, I can say this because, we're all of similar mind here. We are light workers. Mm-hmm. And we're in a period where the energy is so heavy and so dark and designed to pull us down, and these are really tough times.
And I'm not having it. I refuse to be pulled down. No.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Not doing it. So yeah.
You're looking a lot lighter and brighter than you did 2 weeks ago on the call.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I was really in that death experience, and I was like, I was in a very weird situation of not really feeling or knowing who I was, which was weird because I always feel like I know who I am, but I had been unplugged, disconnected, and the teams were rewiring me and working on me, and apparently it's not quite finished. I still had more death and rebirth to go through and more transformation. It's like, okay.
So we have 8 minutes left, and I want to give Jeline the opportunity to speak. She has typed. I hope I've said your name correctly, because I said your name wrong till recently. She says, okay, my microphone is broken. Okay, fair enough. If you want to type, she has. Right now, I'm deeply exploring an internal revolution, feeding my introvert self, and noticing carefully all feelings that arise. I'm typically very goal-oriented, and it's very nice to simply surrender to what is right now. Love that. Present moment awareness. It's really a powerful thing to remember for all of us. Because the present is called the present because it's a gift, right? I love that. Whenever I remind myself of it. I used to go to this shop called Presents and Presents, spelt different in a different way. And every time I went there, I had a really magical experience. And it used to be owned by this lady who was Deepak Chopra's assistant. And she's gone to work with him now. She's from Sri Lanka. And I always had such magical experiences in this place. So, in the last 6 minutes before I hand over to Agne, I would like to just sort of ask you to popcorn in with anything that you would like to share, bearing in mind that we have like just over 5 minutes left. I feel very drawn to, you know, asking you, Bonnie, how you're doing. Would you mind answering that?
How am I doing?
Yeah.
Well, lately, probably most of you have seen, I've been attacked on my social media quite heavily. And and it's all because I have a different viewpoint about how we got here, okay? Not your traditional Christian viewpoint. I have my own, and it's mathematical, and it's about aliens and, you know, everything that outside of the box. And so near-death experiencers can be some of the meanest people in the world. I want to tell you, that's a truth, and I don't know why, but it seems like we fight against each other. Whose story is correct? This is right. This is right. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, and it's a fight. And if you don't believe like the rest of them, or your story doesn't fit into their box, then they come after you. And so I have been very clear that I don't go after other near-death experiencers because they've got their own story. And I thoroughly believe that what we believe in our hearts and our mind is what we experience when we get there. Yes. And so, you know, we are unclicking from our DMT and okay, so I got this visualization that the cells are actually unclicking, click, 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 click. And as each one unclicks, the DMT is releasing, and in that DMT and all that DNA, you're seeing your whole life, and you're seeing the things that you love, and you're passing through whatever you're going to pass through. And so
I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to stop you just for a second, just to say that I didn't realize that until about a minute ago that I'd forgotten that Paul has to leave early because of a prior commitment, and I said that he could do his segment, which is 10 minutes or around 10 minutes beforehand. So if it's okay with you, Agne, I'm going to take 5 minutes of the time and move it forward so you could go 5 minutes on. And Bonnie, I'm going to say to you, I would like for you to come back on another sacred segment and talk about what you're talking about specifically. I'm going to ask you to be the main guest and speak specifically about all of this stuff to do with near death, because I want to hear what you're experiencing. So please save it and share it with us. Okay, I'm sorry that I'm going to have to pause you, but I'm going to go over to Paul now.
Hi, sorry about that, Bonnie. And I resonate, obviously being a practitioner of witchcraft. I get that people attack all the time. Okay, so the tree meditation I'm going to take you through today is Rowan, and Rowan is all about protection. but it's also another boundary tree that connects us to the other world. It is a place that we can draw up life force. So what I would ask you to do, and I'm going to talk you through a meditation to transform yourself into the Rowan. And if you're not clear what a Rowan looks like, that's okay. Just hold the intention that you're going to transform into a Rowan. So if you close your eyes for me right now and just begin to breathe into the still center of your being. And as you breathe, let go of all tension in your body as you breathe into the still center of your being. And as you breathe, consider Mother Earth beneath you, who gives you grounding, support, and stability, and envelops you so completely in her love as you breathe into the still center of your being. Visualize roots growing out of your feet, going all the way deep into the earth, connecting you into the interconnected rootwork system that exists in the ground as you breathe into the still center of your being. And from the darkness that is your mind, a mist begins to form. And on the other side of that mist, there was a warm glow that you decide to follow with a sense of curiosity. And know, as you walk, you are protected. But should you choose to, you can summon whatever guide, spirit, or animal to walk with you. As you walk through the mist and you traverse over to the other side, you find yourself in the healing energies of the Celtic otherworld, in a beautiful, enchanted forest. All around you, the flowers are in bloom. This place is truly magical and alive. And just in front of you sits an enormous rowan tree. Its giant roots dig deep into the earth, its branches reaching high up into the sky. And you decide to sit down in front of it and lean into it. And as you do, you begin to sink deep into the tree, merging with it, becoming one with its energies. Your feet intermingle with the roots of the tree, going deep, deep into the earth, all the way into the sacred healing waters of the lower world. And your arms reach up high into the sky, becoming the branches, connecting to the energies of the sun and the four winds. And with your next breath, draw the healing sacred waters up from deep within the lower world, up the roots, nourishing them, drawing into your body, intermingling with the waters within your own body, bringing healing and nourishment. And then with your next breath, draw in the beautiful solar and four-directional wind energy in through the leaves, down through the branches, deep into the trunk of the tree and your body, connecting into the breath that exists in your lungs. And again, with the next breath, draw the sacred healing waters up through your roots. And as you breathe it in, it intermingles with the water in your body, bringing healing nourishment. And again, with the next breath, draw in that beautiful solar energy in through the leaves and the winds, enlivening every cell in your body, intermingling with the air in your lungs, bringing vital life force and vitality into the very center of your being. Just rest for a moment in this beautiful healing energy. And then your arms, so the leaves come back to your arms, the roots withdraw, becoming back into your feet, the trunk turns back into your body, and you step out of the tree, feeling renewed, invigorated, and full of energy. And then you make your way back to the edges of this beautiful, enchanted place, back out into the mist. And from the mist, you return to the darkness that is your mind. And from there, your body. Back to the room you inhabit. And just take a couple of breaths to connect you back to your physical self. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
Thank you for all that. Was beautiful.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me. I will see you all very soon. I'm really sorry I can't stay. I do have to run.
Thanks for being here. Have a good evening.
No worries.
See you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, so that was beautiful. Agne, I'm going to now hand it over to you to talk about quantum healing.
Right. So I have a couple of questions before I begin. I wasn't sure what I'm going into, what kind of audience will I meet. So I kind of prepared slides and so on. And
I can make you co-host, shall I? Yes.
I'm just like questioning if it is relevant, but maybe it is. It's more like directed to people who are earlier in that journey of activating their gifts. But I'm sure everybody would benefit from what I've put together anyway. So if that's cool with you, then I will share some slides and describe. Yeah, I'll describe a little bit of what I do and how I work. Okay, that was the last slide. Hold on. There you go. Can you all see the whole page screen?
Yes,
yeah?
yes,
Okay.
That's great.
Yeah, so I actually adjusted a little bit the title. I decided to include the science, and this is the science of activating your spiritual gifts through quantum healing. My personal background is science, and that's why I see that is important for me and many people who are more in that logical understanding, at least at the beginning of their journey. So merging science and spirituality is what I do. And this is for you if you know that you have a mission here, you are have a big purpose, even if you're not sure what that is. You might have some unexplainable experiences from the past, maybe childhood. Very often, if we are judged in a childhood, we disconnect from those abilities. And if you feel like you have so much more potential that you're experiencing it in the moment, I'm sure this information will be useful. So generally, I mean, I kind of sense that many people on this call are already tapping into those gifts, or have experienced some level of channeling, remote healing, intuitive knowing, deep alignments with the source energy, and so on, energy shifting, light language. But at the beginning of the journey, very often people are in doubt whether it is real, you know, some confusion, feeling stuck, questioning, who am I really? And could there be more in life? We are facing some invisible barriers and so on. And that is mostly because, I'm just really describing this as my own experience. The spiritual journey for me was quite a long path. I struggled for many, many years, not knowing who I am, why I'm here, what's my mission, even though I knew that I'm here to do something big. But eventually something shifted and I was experiencing my spiritual awakening. And actually in just 3 years' time, that's my spiritual journey so far. Everything accelerated to the point that by now I'm accessing the channeling abilities. I'm channeling energies from 12th dimension, star seeds and all those energies, some healing technology. And the main process that helped me get there was quantum healing. And this is the modality that I'm using and is really life-changing, and I want to share a little bit of how it works. And again, I'm talking about science-based processes here. So we generally use about 10% of our brain capacity. And I don't mean that 90% of our brain is not active, but we are aware of 10% of our abilities. As a very basic example, I want to bring like latest iPhone and using it as a calculator only. That sounds like a crazy idea, but pretty much that's what we are experiencing as human beings. We're not tapping into those spiritual gifts and abilities that we could collectively, I'm talking about. And everything is based on a system of separation that we are living in today. I'm talking about human operating system as a part of your mind, body, and soul, the 3 aspects of each of us that are the core. And in the society, body is treated by medical doctors, mind is for psychologists and therapy, soul is probably for religious organizations, and everything is kind of worked on separately. And that's the biggest problem I see in the society. And everything changes when we step into the model of alignment of mind, body, and soul, because these aspects of us are interconnected and in communication with each other. So the importance of understanding how does the mind, body, and soul connects and communicates, and using those processes to heal and to integrate what's necessary, it's what creates the shift. Very basic principles. We are aware of conscious and subconscious mind as a structure, and our conscious awareness is like 10 billion times less than what's available for the subconscious mind. So subconscious programs are all the bodily functions, our belief systems, our past experiences, emotional aspects, and everything is stored in our cellular memory in our DNA. And what we are aware and what we are conscious of is very tiny piece of it. So what happens is on how to expand that consciousness, the core aspect is to connect to your superconscious, your being, right? Or your soul, if you like that better. So the center is our conscious awareness. That's the information that we are aware of. Now, what's around there is the subconscious. All the programs that are built in or programmed through years, through childhood mostly, and then through different life experiences. So these are like filters. Those limiting beliefs are not allowing us to access spiritual gifts because somebody said that this is not real. This doesn't make sense. There was judgment, and we kind of created those limitations around us in our subconscious system, and that's why we're not able to access the spiritual gifts. What's important to understand is that how the information is being programmed in our subconscious. We experience the world through 5 senses, and of course, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, which is smell, gustatory, taste. And our brain is converting the vibration from the environment into our visuals or auditory internal dialogue and messages to make sense of our experience. The brain is also processing the data, filtering out the experiences to match your belief system, to make meaning out of your experiences and so on. And beliefs are anchored, and this is how we create those energy blocks, limitations, so to speak. Only when we begin to access our inner senses, because we experience our internal world also through 5 senses, and mostly through emotions and thoughts, meaning that thoughts are visual images or internal dialogue, and emotions are connected to feelings, taste and smell, and all those aspects. Becoming more aware of your inner experiences, inner senses, dissolves those blockages, those energy blocks. And when you pay attention and you're able to shift the energy, then you're able to experience deeper flow of energy and information. So quantum field of possibilities is like everything is possible out there, right? Everything is available. The only limitation for each of our experiences, those subconscious programs. And the more you clear the programming, the more free flow you will experience of those intuitive gifts and energy flow. So intuition is really a communication system between your conscious awareness and your soul. And the more you clear the blockages, the resistances internally, the more information you can access and the more gifts, so to speak, you can become aware of. So, few core steps. Intuition is the communication system between your mind, body, and soul. Aligning your human operating system will help you access the information in the quantum field. And you can activate more of your brain capacity by becoming more aware of your inner senses and releasing the energy blocks. or unresolved traumas. And I'm sure this is kind of a simple explanation of what that is, but I wanted to guide you through a couple of steps of quantum healing process that I normally guide people through in my sessions. For beginners, this is more of self-understanding, self-awareness experience. For those who are more advanced in their spiritual journey, people experience really intense messages or deeper connection to their being. So just having that in mind, I hope you are willing to experience some quantum healing process. That would take like 10 minutes, not so much more. It's a guided meditation process. Like I mentioned, we experience the world through 5 senses internally. So what I will do, I will invite your being to bring to your awareness. Let's focus on 2 resources. So intuition is a resource for you, right? And another one will be inner healer, your ability to heal yourself. We naturally have that. It's nothing new. But sometimes we disconnect from those experiences or those resources, and just becoming aware and anchoring that energy creates a shift. So I will invite your inner healer and intuition to come to your awareness. And so you will experience something internally, maybe a thought, maybe physical sensation, maybe visual comes up, maybe sound, taste or smell, whichever way. Everybody experiences that differently. And then I will invite you to thank that resource for coming to your awareness. Gratitude activates the change and the energy flow, and you will most likely notice some change in that experience. So after thanking, I will invite you to notice what happened. And then we will connect inner healer with intuition. And at the end, if you're willing, I will invite you to share experience, which can be interesting because everybody experiences the same process in a slightly different way. So when you're ready, you can close your eyes and relax. And notice the position of your body. Notice your breathing. And I want you to thank your breathing for helping you relax gently. And just notice what happens as I invite your being to bring to your awareness a focus of energy, which is a focus of energy of your inner healer. Notice how your inner healer resource comes to your awareness. It might be an image, a physical sensation, a sound, a taste, a smell. Whichever way you experience that, just notice what comes to your awareness. And when you notice that, thank it for coming to your awareness in that particular way. And then notice what happens. Notice how your inner healer responds to your gratitude and appreciation. And when you're ready, only when you're fully ready, after noticing your inner healer and noticing the response to your gratitude, I invite you to notice what happens as I invite your being to bring to your awareness a focus of energy of your intuition. Notice how your intuition comes to your awareness, the knowledge, understanding, and wisdom of your being that knows everything there is to know and understands everything there is to be understood. That's right. That's right. When you notice your intuition coming to your awareness, thank it for coming to your awareness in that particular way. And notice what happens when you thank it. Notice how it responds to your gratitude and appreciation. And when you notice the response, and when you're ready, notice what happens as invite your being to make all the arrangements necessary to allow your inner healer and your intuition to connect with each other. So your intuition will receive healing and feel more whole, healed, and complete. And your inner healer will receive knowledge, understanding, and wisdom from your intuition and know better and better how to heal you. And just notice how these energies are exchanging the energies, sending energy to each other, receiving energy from each other, sending information to each other and receiving information from each other, healing each other and sharing knowledge, understanding, and wisdom with each other. And your being will make all the arrangements necessary for this integration process to continue more deeply and thoroughly while you're sleeping and dreaming, and gently in the background as you are going about your normal daily activities, to the best comfort of your physical body, your mind, your emotions. More noticeable for your conscious mind, how you begin to think differently, feel differently, see and hear things differently. And just notice how your inner healer and intuition energy is gently scanning through your physical body from head to toes, providing that energy, providing the healing, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Notice how it updates your organs, your tissues. Every single cell of your body receives that energy of your resources. That's right. Notice how it updates your DNA structure, deactivating some aspects that are no longer serving you, and activating what's necessary for you to step into your power. That's right. That's right. So when you're ready, only when you are fully ready, you can allow your eyes to open and feel fully relaxed, refreshed, and calm. And take as long as you need to integrate it. Take as long as you need. That's right. Thank you, everyone. I would like to hear some feedback. Maybe share how you experience that if that's what you like to do. I want to mention also, like I was holding space with the light language, light codes, so that you may feel that as well.
Bonnie.
Okay, so I had to pull my energy down, and so I saw a very, very, very brilliant sunflower from the side, and I moved towards it, and I started looking inside of the flower itself, and I started to see the cells and the blooming process. And then I moved. When you changed, I moved right into the colors of a peacock, but more brilliant, and it became a dragonfly. And that's what I saw.
Beautiful, very colorful and visual. Thank you for sharing.
I'm gonna try to draw it too. So
I had quite a profound vision of Merlin in the conical hat, and he had a book in front, and he was wearing this beautifully ornate, shiny cape with the cosmos on it, and it was dark blue, like midnight blue, with gold embroidery on it with stars, and then I saw this beautiful water fountain, and at first what happened was he he or I took some water and put it on my third eye, like holy water in a church. It was like my third eye was being anointed with the holy water. And then, to my surprise, Merlin grabbed me by the head and pushed me in the water. And it was as if I was being baptized.
Wow.
So it was like I was being immersed in the knowledge.
Mm.
And
That's powerful.
Yeah, that was the end of it. It was quite amazing.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Anna, would you share your experience?
Well, first, I'm very, very tired. So it's a struggle for me actually today to, you know, feel anything other than just sort of sensations. I don't have a lot to share, to be honest, just because I'm very tired. And so
there is no right or wrong in this experience, and some people don't have visuals. Some people just experience kinesthetically. That's completely fine.
And I'm not a particularly visual person, except when I do my work.
Right.
So usually when they're meditations and things, I don't really see things. So it's hard for me to explain the sensations that I was feeling because it was kind of vague. But I did feel things. I don't know how to put them into words. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, I just want you to know that however you experience that, it's still effective. It still works in your system and is integrated energetically.
So, I felt that. Yeah, definitely felt that. I'm like, oh, how do I explain this? I'm like, maybe I can. I thought, that's okay.
That's fine. Yeah, you don't need to. Thank you anyway for sharing. Carl, how about you?
For me, also not a visual person. So I felt the inner healer, it took a little while to appear, but to me, I felt more like a physical sensation with my hearing. Mm-hmm. So it was more like it became foggy. So I took that maybe as a sign, and I thanked him for appearing, and I don't know, I just felt very comfortable, and I kind of stayed in that suspended space. So even when I invited my intuition come in, I think I did get a physical sensation from my intuition, but I didn't get any intuitive insight. So I was more like in it was a very nice, comfortable space, but it was more, I was just in the energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like I said, there is no right or wrong in this experience.
Yeah, yes, no, I enjoyed it.
Nice to...
But it was interesting to try and match a sensation, you know, to be aware of another time when I do the exercise, and if it's the same sensation, so I can be more alert to their presence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautiful.
May I ask you a question?
Sure.
So my question is, how would you describe the word quantum? Because I know that many people have different explanations.
Right. For me, quantum is like bypassing the laws of physics of this material world. Time is irrelevant, space is irrelevant, meaning that we can heal anything that happened in the past or the future. We can recreate experiences really through quantum healing. That's what I help often people to do. Heal trauma and speak or like merge with the potential version of themselves, and they have shifted experience in their current reality.
Beautiful, thank you. I just have one more observation that if I could quickly share. Well, welcome Syra and Tracy, who's going to be sharing very shortly in the next few minutes. So I had another vision that I wanted to share with you, and it was during the time when you were sharing the images and the thing about the top of the head. There's 2 spirals that were coming round the aura, and I was reminded about somebody that I heard speaking, talking about a toroid, and this reminded me of your work, Anna, about clearing entities. And he was talking about how you can clear energies from your own field, but not only entities, but thoughts from your own self as well. And that image that you shared reminded me of this. And you visualize the toroid coming out of the crown and around you, and it's almost like kind of pushing it, pushing that auric envelope, filling it with light or energy to shift whatever's attached themselves to the internal nexus or whatever. And that image that you shared very much reminded me of that, and linked me to that and I wanted to share that, and thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. So yeah,
it's very powerful. So I want to invite you again. If you want to come back at any point in the future and share more of your work, or any other thoughts that you may have, please do. You're welcome to stay for the rest of this session. Sure. Is there anything that you would like to say in closing before I pass over to Tracy?
Generally, yeah, I wanted to share what I do, and I appreciate your presence and for sharing experiences. And if anybody's interested to know more, I'm available for a free call. And Alexis, you mentioned that there will be information about me available for everybody if they're interested to connect.
Yes, please share your contact details on the chat here, and also on the group, on the Facebook group. And there is another group that I would like to link you into, which I will message you about later, called Creative Spirituality. And it's a very new WhatsApp group. Already 44 people have joined, or 44 people, and it's growing. That's just in 2 days.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. So it's another platform that's kind of linked to Sacred Segments, but separate. Right. So you've shared your...
Yeah, I shared my links.
Thank you so much.
My Facebook profile and email, and there's a scheduling link to book a call with me if you feel drawn to connect, because I'm very interested in new connections, and as a light workers, I think we need to come together to create that big shift.
100%.
And yeah, so thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. I appreciate you. I'm sure we all do. Please feel free to stay. Tracy, hello, welcome, great to see you. Where are you joining us from?
From the Medina Habu in Luxor.
Beautiful, beautiful. I wanted to sing Black Star when I saw your, I love that song, the David Bowie Black Star. So please share, Tracy.
Okay. Thank you for joining me, inviting me on your group.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I find it so extraordinary listening to everyone in terms of their experiences. I live in Egypt. I came to live here and work here during the pandemic, and I'm a gatekeeper and a timekeeper, specialist in the soul journey and many various gateways of transformation, protection, clearing, combat, whatever needs to take place within the context of our consciousness. So this is my place of work, and it's the place in which I design the training programs that I deliver worldwide. My greatest passion is the soul. And when we're called to the soul, when we're called to the passion of the soul, or even the dark night of the soul, we are calling ourselves to the incredible strength, the eternity, the quantum field of our own intelligence and our own capacity to transform our reality, whether it be health, psychology, emotional intelligence, whether it be creativity or the capacity to truly love and awaken and pinpoint who we are. So each one of us moves through our own reality gateways in terms of how we are emerging as souls, as human beings on the planet. And I think it's such a strong time for soul intelligence, emotional intelligence to step forward. And this is the bond, this is the field, this is the field of intelligence, the field of protection that we identify as the quantum field or as metaphysics. Often it's rarely materialized due to trauma that is not resolved. So I do specialize in wound weaving as well, reading timelines. The work that I do here, of course, specializes in the Eye of Ra. So the calling of the goddess, that which the matrix destroys. So Egypt is a phenomenal legacy of wisdom in terms of consciousness and the journey of the soul, the architecture of the soul. And it's here in the temples that the architecture provides the structure on these gateways of millions of years, gatekeepers. And that's also what I specialize in. So I work on several levels. I work within the global community in terms of change, developing individuals, developing communities to gather the courage and the strength to create the visions that lead us into a new earth, a new humanity. Some of the individuals I work with have a back history and incredible careers. I work with one of the CEOs from Sony, and I'm incredibly privileged to work with all individuals I work with. But I'm particularly interested in genius, which comes from Black Star. So David Bowie's last album is quite a key in terms of what we are moving through in terms of humanity, in terms of as individuals. So when we step into fully our purpose, we are activating that black star within us, which is the goddess. And so Bowie, as a prophet and genius creator, was fully embodying ancient teachings that have been somewhat dismissed, even in our spiritual community. So his final legacy left particular keys within the context of understanding who we are, what our creation story is. I live here in front of the Royal Palace. It's one of the facilities that I worked on, developed when I came to live in Egypt. It's a site of a sacred lake. It's the primary site, or the oldest site for Amun, the materialization of Amun. This is where the creator gods are buried. If you have any back history and understanding ancient Egypt, the creation story features extremely heavily within the context of our human origins and an emotional intelligence that transcends anything we are currently enshrining today. So we see these incredible gateways which not only enshrine history, historical facts within the context of our creation, but they also contain the facts in terms of our soul journey. So these are monuments, architecture that writes the journey of the soul. It's your journey of the soul too. So we have extraordinary legacies of pharaohs who were deified, queens who were deified. So when we call the spirit, the souls of these kings and queens to us, we were met in gateways of incredible intelligence. So these are the formidable quantum field initiations that I seek as a facilitator to create the time shifts within the individuals I work with. So taking them into extraordinary awakening, recalibration within the context of the energetic field, the biofield. So the foundations of our biofield and our psychology, our emotional intelligence, support the system of the soul, and then how that materializes in terms of our journey on earth. So this is my greatest passion, is to unlock the legacy of your soul, to equip you with the ability to question programming and how insidious that is in terms of, even if we meditate, how we are caught in the collective on a day-to-day basis. So I do a lot of work which transcends Hollywood spirituality, entitled spirituality. So we can really begin to flow energetically as the beings of light that we're meant to be on the planet. And with each of us leaning more towards the identity of our soul, then we are unlocking a quantum field that is powerful and dynamic and bonded, united together. And this means that we can transcend usual educational gateways. So we really learn to upload new intelligence paradigms. That takes us into hyper protection, which is an important part of us creating built-in technologies that not only ignite our intelligence further as those who build new Earth, but at the same time protect us further within the context of the matrix. I'm a highly specialized metaphysician. I've always held this ability since childhood. Was trained at the College of Psychic Studies. I was mentored by Susanna McInnery, who is or was the College of Psychic Studies then president. And I was seen as sensitive who would lead the new era. And I have a legacy of 24 years as a specialist in metaphysics, consciousness, gateways, entity release. I mean, you name it. I tackle it. What I see is the most important gateway for each person on the planet at this time is to initiate the internal awareness, which comes with trauma resolution, wound weaving, traveling timelines to correct karmic glitches and karmic loops. The ability to analyze what is taking place in terms of the matrix, time control agendas, psychology control agendas. These are all metaphysics, black arts in terms of the elite. So how we combat these dark forces is by engaging with real metaphysics and real metaphysics training. So this is where I live. I have one facility here in front of the Royal Palace. We're about 1 kilometer from the Valley of the Queens. I can walk to the Valley of the Kings too. So I live in basically a temple. And my other facility is in the Pyramids Field. And each one of the facilities lends itself in a very different way to the time vectors that now must be integrated on the planet.
Well, Tracy, it's a real honour to have you here with us this evening. And I want to invite you to come on to Sacred Segments whenever you would like to, you know.
Thank you.
This is an introduction to your work, and I would like to have you back as a guest for a longer segment where you can delve deeper into the work that you do. Today was a shorter introduction, and it happened synchronistically that we got in contact about today, and I'm so glad that you're here to share with us. And it wasn't by chance that Anna and I have been seeing the Eye of Horus the last 24 hours. And we knew that there was a significance. And of course, now we understand why.
Yeah, I mean, the Eye of Horus is really interesting in terms of it relates to Thoth, and it relates to these 63 parts of 64 parts of universal knowledge. So that is the karmic path of humanity. The other aspect is the Eye of Ra. The Eye of Ra is held in the right hand. It's the eye of protection. It relates to the fundamental initiation of all of our awareness being reunited in love, which surpasses even the legacy of Ra himself. So the goddess rises up within us, whether we are male or female. And that allows us to transcend the matrix. So this Eye of Ra or Eye of Horus that you're seeing is particularly important. The water too is also a very important aspect of where I live. I'm literally in front of the sacred lake, and we have sacred waters here on the property.
Wow.
So I also see water as being a seriously important encryption of the arc libraries that are temples here too. Yeah. Yeah, my friends are the Emoto Foundation in Japan as well. So I have a big interest in the relationship or the relationship between consciousness and the water, and also what's happening with water on the planet as well.
May I ask, are you originally from Wales?
No, I'm originally from the north of England.
Okay.
And I mean, I've traveled a lot. So I spend maybe 5 times a year out in Japan working as well. I have a very large community there. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we have a very short time left.
Can I just say,
Go ahead.
yes, I did a workshop with you, Tracy, in the College of Psychic Studies.
I can hear your voice.
I trained with Robin Winbow.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think it was back in about 2003, 2004. I did
So-
some workshop with you connecting to the archangels and multi-dimensional healing.
Oh, nice. Beautiful. I mean, the work that I do now is not like how it was 20 years
No,
ago.
I can imagine.
So there's a couple of things that we needed to mention. So Anna was going to talk about the 7 rays briefly. We're going to do a closing segment on that. Before you do, I just want to thank you both, Tracy and Agne, for your contribution to Sacred Segments today. I'm really grateful to you for being here and for everyone else that has joined us. Bonnie, who has just left us, usually does a segment on healing herbs, and she shares her psychic art with us. She's had to go, but the herb or plant of the day was clove. And there are many powerful antimicrobial and healing properties of clove. And I just want to bring that into our consciousness that, it's been a lifesaver for me when I've had terrible tooth pain. But there are plenty of properties. I urge you to research clove and the healing power of cloves. I've also bought star anise today, which is a great antiviral. In closing, would you, Anna, please share on the 7 rays?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Alexis about a month ago asked me, because I had mentioned it in my presentation a month ago, something about the 7 rays. I don't remember what it was. And so you asked me to do a segment on it, and I said, I cannot possibly talk about the 7 rays in like 7 minutes or whatever. It's such a huge topic. But I just want to give you a little, if it is an introduction, some of you may know this, but the way I was taught it was that it's really a tool to understanding your psychology. And essentially what the 7 rays are, and they're more than 7, but there are the 7 basic rays of God. They are forces which represent the God manifested, okay? God in 7 ways of manifestation. And you could see each of the rays as embodying a being, okay? And each of the rays is focusing on a different aspect. So the first ray is of will or power, okay? And the color of that is red. And then the second ray is love and wisdom, which is also considered like the ray of teachers. And the third ray is active intelligence. I'm just going to go through them kind of quickly. The fourth ray is harmony, beauty, and art, but it's also called harmony through conflict, which is an interesting thing. And the fifth one is concrete knowledge and science. The sixth ray is the ray of devotion. And the seventh is of ceremonial magic. Okay, and basically, we all have the 7 rays in different aspects within us. It's part of us. It's not that you have, some and you don't have others, but there are certain ones that are more predominant in your makeup. And some of them are things that your soul has carried with it throughout its entire journey, from its first manifestation until now. And you can actually find out. And remember what a month ago I was talking about Dwakul. That's how I was talking about the rays. Ascended Master Dwakul. You could actually find out from him your ray structure. So my former spiritual teacher, he channeled Dwakul. I still have the recording. And I found out what my ray structure was, it's very, very interesting, because then you can really find out the challenges that you're coming in with, much like astrology would show you this, and also the resources that you're coming in with, because each ray has, for lack of a better word, positive and negative aspect. So for example, the first ray, the one of will and power, if it's abused, you get Nazi Germany. Okay, you get wars. Okay, and it is a ray that you have to use with discernment and care, because it's a very, very powerful ray. And so, however, there are times when we need that energy to kind of give ourselves a boost and shove us forward. So if you're ever feeling like you're needing a boost of motivation, a boost of energy, something to get you really going, you can actually call in that ray. But the thing is when you call in the ray, and you can also visualize the color red, you can even, by wearing the color red, you're actually calling it in and working with it. That's why, like, you would never want, you can see how it applies to so many different things, including feng shui. You would never want to live in a red room all the time. It's too much of the first ray. It's just, it can cause people to become very angry and hostile and aggressive. So it's a very aggressive ray. However, when used judiciously and carefully, it can really help move you forward. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like you need a little burst of personal power, you can call in that ray. And
are they linked to the chakras?
No, yes and no. They're not the same. It's a totally different thing. Again, this is a really huge topic. There are some parallels, and you can cross-reference, but the color.
Are they literally color vibrations, like the vibration?
Well, the color is part of what it is. Yeah, yeah. The second ray. So if you're working with the first ray, a little dab will do you. Okay. Working with the second ray, which is really the ray that star seeds and healers and spiritual teachers are usually working from in that energy. It's love and wisdom. And so working with the second ray of love and wisdom, which the color of this ray is blue, it helps to balance this first ray. So generally speaking, the advice is if you're going to call in the first ray, you know, then after it's like running through you, because you can feel it. If you're at all sensitive, you call in the first ray, you'll feel it running through your body. And then you call in then the second ray, which helps to temper it and kind of soothe it and balance it, if you know, can understand what I mean. So I really, of course, love the second ray. And of course, I found out that one of my aspects is of the second ray.
Is this the ray of devotion, or is that the
love and wisdom? Love and wisdom. The ray of devotion is the ray that was really predominant during the whole Christian era, okay? Where the mea culpa, and, you know, going to all of that was reflecting that for the most part. And what else do I want to say about this? Again, it's such a complex thing, but this is what I want to talk about. Everybody has a separate ray for your monad, okay, for your soul, for your personality, your mind, your emotions, and your physical body. Okay. So for example, my personality is the fourth ray, which is the one, harmony through conflict. And that's the ray of like the tortured artist. Okay, the tortured artist. And I remember saying to my teacher, oh no, I've got that one. Like, oh, that's not a good ray, right? But he's like, no. He said, all have, positive and negative aspects. I was like, oh, right, of course. And my personality is on that. So it's not like my soul is that. So the personality is more on the surface.
We're almost, pretty much out of time.
Yeah. So a taster, an introduction to a huge topic.
Will you continue talking about this next time?
Would you like me to continue?
Yes,
sure.
please, because obviously there are 7, and you know, maybe we could focus on one, each time for
go through it briefly. Yeah.
Let's close with some gratitude and a power word. So something that you're grateful for and a word that you would like to embody. Okay, I'll start. So I'm grateful for knowledge and wisdom and learning. And my power word is serenity. Syra, something that you're grateful for in a power word.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm very grateful for the sea, because I went swimming in the sea for the first time this year. Oh, are you still there?
Yeah, still here.
Oh, what happened? It just went. And the power word I thought of is vibrant, or vibrancy.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tracy, something that you're grateful for in a power word. Sorry, couldn't hear you.
Consciousness. And power word is light in all its forms.
Beautiful. Thank you. Carl.
I'm grateful for nature. It lifts me up and inspires me. And power word, I think, yes, also serenity.
Beautiful. Thank you, Carl. Great to see you. And Agne.
So I'm grateful for new connections in this realm as well. And the power word is collective shift.
Ooh, lovely. And I've got to say that that image behind you, I had a moment this evening where I could feel it in my heart. I felt my heart chakra just opening up in that fashion. It was really, it helped. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Anna.
I'm grateful for connection and friendship. And my power word is love, unconditional self-love.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate your presence, your sharing, and I'm just very humbled and grateful. Thank you so much. Love you. Bye, everyone, and hope to see you again. Please come on at any time and connect with me over the next couple of weeks, whenever, via Facebook, and I'm going to connect you all to the Creative Spirituality WhatsApp group where we can keep in touch at any point, okay? Lots of love. Have a lovely evening. Bye.